Hey Virgo, there are moments that find you rather than the other way around, not because you were looking, not because the timing was convenient, but because something in the particular arrangement of where you are right now in your life, in yourself, in the specific quality of this period made you available to be found. If something pulled you here tonight without a clear explanation of why that pull itself might be the most important thing to pay attention to, you know what frissons feel like. Not the cold kind, the other kind. The kind that moves through you when something true makes contact with something real, when words or music or a moment lands in a place that wasn't expecting to be reached, and the body responds before the mind has caught up. That involuntary, unmanageable, completely honest physical response to something that resonates at a depth the managed surface can't intercept. You felt it before, maybe rarely, maybe in moments you remember specifically because of the quality of that feeling, the particular combination of recognition and something almost like grief, almost like relief, almost like both simultaneously, the sense that something you knew but hadn't quite let yourself know fully just got confirmed, not by argument, not by logic, by contact, by the specific, undeniable physical fact of your own body responding to something true. Uh, and something has been building toward that kind of contact lately. You may not have a name for it yet, may not be able to point to it precisely, but there's been a quality in certain days recently, a texture, a charge that feels different from ordinary. Like something in the background of your life has been quietly rearranging itself, like pieces that were separate are beginning to find their relation to each other, like something that has been developing underneath the surface of the daily invisible, patient, real, is approaching the moment where it breaks through into the visible. That's what enormous actually feels like before it arrives. Not dramatic, not loud, just a shift in the quality of things, a sense that the ordinary is carrying something extra right now. That the moments that look unremarkable from the outside are charged with something that hasn't revealed its full nature yet. And your body knows before your mind does. That's worth understanding about yourself, about how the deepest knowings actually arrive, not through analysis, not through the careful reasoning of someone who has evaluated the situation and reached a conclusion, through the body, through the specific physical intelligence that processes things at a speed and depth that conscious thought can't match, through the frisson, through the tightening in the chest, through the tears that arrive before you've understood why, through the specific quality of alert stillness that settles over you when something enormous is in the vicinity, even before it's fully visible, even before it's fully named. You've been in that quality of alert stillness, haven't you? Not always, not in the busy hours, but in the quiet ones, in the honest moments between the managed and the real, there's been something, a heightened quality, a sense of being on the edge of something, of standing at a threshold you can feel but can't yet see past. Now, here's something worth examining carefully about what enormous actually means in the context of your specific life. Not the generic version, not the lottery win, not the dramatic reversal, not the Hollywood version of a life-changing, the real version, the one that's specific to you, to the particular things you've been carrying, to the specific weight you've been moving through your days with, to the precise, personal version of what would feel in the body, in the chest, in the honest part of you that knows the difference between actually good and superficially impressive, like something that genuinely transformed something, because enormous is personal. What's enormous for one person is ordinary for another. And the enormous thing that's moving in your life right now, the one that's creating the charge in certain days, the quality of almost in certain moments has the specific shape of your actual story, not someone else's, yours, with all its particular history and all its specific longings and all the precise things you've been quietly, persistently hoping for in the part of yourself that holds the real wants rather than the performed ones. And here's what's true about enormous things, real ones, the kind that actually change the texture of a life. They almost never arrive looking like what you imagined. They arrive in forms that are adjacent to the image, that contain what the image was actually about, the feeling, the quality, the essential thing, but packaged differently than expected, in a person who doesn't look like the person you pictured, in an opportunity that comes from a direction you weren't watching, in a moment that seems ordinary until, looking back from the other side of it, you realize it was the hinge, the thing everything after turned on. And the people who receive those moments, who actually catch them rather than letting them pass unrecognized, are the ones who are paying attention in the right way, not anxiously, not scanning for the expected form of the thing, but openly, with the kind of awareness that comes from being genuinely present in their own life rather than living slightly ahead of it in the version where the enormous thing has already arrived. So what's been moving in you before anything moves around you? Because that's always the sequence. The internal shift precedes the external one, always. The enormous things that happen in a life are downstream of something that happened first in the person, a decision, a recognition, a belief that changed, a ceiling that raised, a pattern that finally got seen clearly enough to be addressed. The external movement is the reflection of the internal one. And the internal one, whatever it has been for you in this particular period, has already started. You can feel it. That's what the charge in certain days is made of. That's what the quality of almost is pointing to. Something in you has already moved quietly, without announcement, in the specific way that the most significant internal changes happen, not with fanfare, but with a subtle but irreversible shift in how things feel from the inside. And that shift, whatever it is, wherever it began, is what the enormous external thing is moving toward, or rather is what makes you available to it. Because the enormous things that change lives don't arrive into people who haven't moved at all. They arrive into people who have done something, even something small, even something private, even something that looked like nothing from the outside, that opened a space, that raised a ceiling, that changed what was possible to receive, that made the enormous thing recognizable when it arrived, rather than invisible because the person wasn't in a state to see it. You're in a state to see it. That's what tonight is about. That's what the pull that brought you here is made of. Not accident, not algorithm. The specific readiness of someone who has been moving internally in the honest place toward something that is now close enough to feel. Now, here's the part about fear and excitement. Because what you're feeling right now, if you're honest about the full texture of it, isn't purely one thing. It's not clean excitement. It's not uncomplicated hope. It's that particular specific mixture that lives in the body when something significant is genuinely approaching, when the stakes are real, when the thing that's coming isn't small enough to be risk-free. It feels like excitement that has fear threaded through it, like hope that comes preloaded with the awareness of what it would cost if it didn't arrive, like the specific aliveness of standing at the edge of something enormous, feeling its scale, feeling what it would mean, and the equally specific vulnerability of that aliveness, of caring this much, of having let the wanting be this real. And that mixture, that fear-threaded excitement, is actually one of the most reliable signals available to you right now, because small things don't produce it. Ordinary things don't generate that specific combination. It's the signature of something that actually matters, of something whose arrival would genuinely change things, of something that has reached you at the level where real things reach people, not just in the mind, not just in the managed surface, but in the body, in the chest, in the involuntary, unmanageable, completely honest place. The frisson, there it is again, the body confirming what the mind is still catching up to. So how do you stand in this, in the movement of something enormous that isn't fully visible yet, that's in the approaching but not yet in the arrived, that's close enough to feel but not yet close enough to hold? How do you be in that space, that charged, uncertain, alive, slightly terrifying space, without either grasping it so tightly you interfere with its natural arrival, or pulling back from it so defensively that you're not there when it lands? The answer, and it's simpler than it might seem, is presence. Not anxious presence, not the hypervigilant scanning of someone who's afraid of missing something, but the genuine, grounded, fully here quality of someone who is actually inhabiting their own life in this moment, who is in their body, who is in their days, who is available, actually physically, energetically available to what's moving toward them. Um, because enormous things don't arrive into futures. They don't deliver themselves to the version of you that's living ahead of the present moment in the imagined place where things have already worked out. They arrive here, in the now, in the specific, ordinary, fully inhabited present. And the person who receives them, who actually catches them as they pass, is the one who was genuinely here when they arrived, not somewhere else, not in the managed version, here. So be here in this particular period, in these specific days that carry the charge you've been feeling. In the quality of this time, whatever it is, however it's manifesting that feels different from ordinary, don't rush past it toward the resolution. Don't manage it down to something more comfortable. Stay in it. Feel the full texture of it. The excitement and the fear and the aliveness and the vulnerability and the specific electric sense that something real is in motion. Because after the frisson, after the moment where something true makes full contact and the body responds and the managed surface cracks open and the real thing gets through, there's something else, something quieter than the frisson, but in some ways more significant. A clarity, a particular, clean, unobstructed clarity that only exists in the moments after something true has fully landed, after the defenses have been breached, after the honest version of something has finally been allowed to be completely real. That clarity is coming, it's on the other side of whatever this is, of the charge in these days, of the quality of almost, of the enormous thing that's moving toward you in the specific form of your actual story. And in that clarity, in the clean, unmanaged, fully honest state of someone who has let something true fully arrive, you'll be able to see things you can't quite see from here. Make decisions you can't quite make from here, Move in directions that feel right in the body, not just in the mind. In the deep, honest, frisson confirmed place where the real knowings live, something huge is happening. Not in the dramatic sense, not in the way that looks enormous from the outside necessarily, in the way that changes the texture of a life from the inside, in the way that feels in the body, in the chest, in the specific place where real things land, like something that was supposed to happen is finally actually happening. You feel it. That's not imagination. That's not wishful thinking. That's the body doing what it does when something true is in the vicinity, confirming physically, involuntarily, completely honestly that something real is here. Stay present to it. Don't manage it down. Don't rush past it toward the resolution. Don't pull back from the aliveness of it, because the aliveness comes with vulnerability, and the vulnerability is uncomfortable. Stay in it. In the charge of these particular days, in the quality of this specific time, in the full, unmanaged, honestly felt sense of something enormous moving toward you, in the form of your actual story, in the shape of your real life, in the specific, personal, deeply yours version of what enormous actually means for you. It's here, not coming, here, in this moment, in the frisson that moved through you, when something true made contact with something real. That was it. That was the enormous thing, not what's coming after. The recognition itself, the moment the body confirmed what the honest part of you has known for a while, that something has already changed